and gentlemen, this is Brent Hazard and Malcolm Johnson, who's calling in. He's hot on the campaign trail. This is the Brent and Malcolm Show. Malcolm, how's the campaign going, sir?
But I think I heard him hang up.
Okay, he was there.
He was there.
And then we went live and he's not there.
I heard the phone when he disconnected. And I can't hear well.
No, you can hear extremely well.
Okay.
As always, it's always an honor to have our guest, Socrates Garrett. We want to have him on this show. We're running a little late, and that's my fault. I've been doing what I do well. But let's get right into it.
It's what you do well is running late. Is that what I just heard? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, if you got a comedy skit you want to do,
no.
I mean,
I'm just listening to you.
I'm letting you get it all out.
Okay.
I mean, this is obviously some repressed feelings you have toward white people. If you need to say "you damn cracker" a couple times to get it out. We're here to have conversations.
It's not in there, Brent. It's not in there, so I can't get that out. Okay.
I'll pledge I'm not getting arrested for beating up an elderly person today. I've been working on anger issues, unlike some people.
Yeah, you need to do that.
The hell I do. Let's get to it, Mr. Garrett.
Yes,
yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
No, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, we had a resolution in the garbage contract.
That's correct.
Judge Clark basically called the city of Jackson dysfunctional. Is this your first time being exposed to Judge Clark?
I believe so.
Okay. For those who do not know, Judge Clark was in the Newton Chancery Court judge, I think Noxubee area for years, Scott County for sure. But I won't say Scott. I don't know the whole district, but I knew him from Scott, and I do believe Newton County had a couple cases in front of him. He was also judicial performance is where you go file complaints against judges, and it's businessmen and judges that make up that board. Now, let me ask you this. You are the type of person that would be nominated for that. Have you ever been nominated for a judicial performance?
No, I have not.
Okay, and I'm being completely sincere on that. I
thought you had to be a lawyer.
No, they try to get. They have a mix of non-lawyers because those who you want to regulate. Lawyers would have issues being negative to judges because we might have to go in front of them. So they try to get non-lawyers on the panel. Okay. Judge Clark. I can hear you. We're in a kind of a segment here.
I was talking to him. He was in.
Okay. Still alive. Socrates Garrett production. But with that said, Judge Clark was a chairman of judicial performance. Very well thought of. But he can be smart with some comments. And look, Judge Clark's going to hit everybody. Judge Clark hit me first couple times. You can hear from him. He's going to test you. He's going to know it. The comments I saw on the WLBT live feed, and it's still out there, he said that both sides were dysfunctional. He said the city cannot sue the city. It's just like basically him suing himself. It can't be done. And basically he said, y'all want me to violate separation of powers issues because y'all have a disagreement. I took that meant he wasn't going to rule for either party. He could dismiss it for lack of subject matter. But with all that said, Socrates, what was your opinion of the contract?
Well, Brent, I think that for our viewers, if we could just give a little recap on how we got to this point where there was a hearing on Monday.
Okay.
You want me to do it, or you're going to do it?
You're the one that brought it up, big man, so I'll let you do it. But if you want me to do it.
Well, it's your show.
If you don't know, say I don't know.
Well, I do know.
What happened was the mayor. Well, before we get into that, I think we have a caller calling in. Do we have Malcolm Johnson on the phone?
Give me 1 second. He's on now.
Mr. Johnson.
How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing fine. You're out campaigning for the people, telling people you could not be in studio today. I couldn't be in studio last week, but you're out campaigning. Socrates, Garrett, and I are talking about the garbage contract, but before we wanted to take a break right now and check on you. How's the campaigning going?
Man, the campaign trail is going great, brother. So many doors that I'm knocking on, and so many people that I'm talking to, I'm hearing the same thing. They say we need change in the city and the county. So, and I'm letting the people know that I'm not running for city, so I don't want them to get me involved with what's going on citywide. I'm running for county. You know, there's a difference. Now, the county do not have anything to do with the city garbage. So I want to go on record by saying that.
Where will you be appearing in the next couple weeks if people want to hear you speak?
We do got some upcoming events. I know Sunday I'll be down in Utica. Next week we got something going on in West Jackson. It's a lot going on. It's getting ready to heat up. I know Terry getting ready for their big event. And it's a couple of more events that we have on the schedule. So that normally don't kick off around May, June when the events start kicking off where you do a lot of public speaking. But we are on schedule to be everywhere that District 5 is invited to.
Now, Malcolm, if people want to donate or volunteer to your campaign, how do they do that?
They can give me a call at 601-473-6545. 601-473-6545. And I will give you give them the direct information. Now they can go to www.malcolmjohnsonforsupervisor.com, and you can always donate on the website. Let me say this to you too, Brent. And we missed you on last week, man. And I tell you one thing, Brent, when you're not there, it's never the same. Tell them something.
Oh, that's right. It's never the same when he's not here, Malcolm.
Y'all don't have any white people to hate. But anyway, before I let you go, Malcolm.
I got a question for you.
Hang on. Okay, go ahead, Socrates.
Okay, Malcolm,
yes,
I know you're into the race now, and it's a crowded field, but has it been any polling, or has anyone handicapped the race? What is it looking like now in terms of, I know that you want to win it outright going in, but if it's not going to be won outright, who do you see as the runoff, the people that will make the runoff?
Well, a good friend of mine, which is a lobbyist for the state of Mississippi, after having deep conversations with him and they done some polling, we were sitting in second place as of now. And then Cummins was in fourth place by the polling that was done by some lobbyist friends of mine.
Okay. Well, normally the incumbent would have a leg up, but he's not polling well at this point then.
In fourth place, and I'm gonna say this, Brent, this was an old Miss graduate, maybe from the area, Oxford, Mississippi guy, so he don't have a dog in the fight.
Well, let me go ahead and say this.
If
they got you in second, that's not, I'm not going to believe that poll, because the word I'm hearing is that you're leading.
Well, we good with second right now. We want to be in first at the end.
There you go, Malcolm. As any good jockey knows, that he's got a draft for most of the race until it's time to take the lead.
There you go. Until you get ready to make the motor on the helicopter go up.
There you go. Well, good luck to you out there, partner.
Let me say this too, and I'm gonna hang up. Hey, Brent.
Yeah.
Now, me and Sock, we know about politics. You know about law, so let us handle that part.
We're going to hang up on Malcolm now, and hopefully he and I will be back in the studio next week. With my schedule and his schedule, it's hard to mix and match. But when I'm not here, I know Mr. Johnson's handling things well, but I'll be out and about. We got a little fundraiser we're trying to do for Malcolm, so we got that planning. So we'll announce that, and then we'll be back together soon. But we'll have to get together when you get back in town from campaigning and go get something to eat, sir. I think he's gone.
Okay.
But anyway, but yes, he's hitting Terry, he's hitting Utica, he's hitting all the counties. And you forget how big Hinds County is Well, you just can't run around like you think you can. It's geographically, it's a huge community, and he's wanting to hit the Utica, Clinton, Terry areas and all the areas in his district. But anyway, back to what we're talking about on the garbage contract and some background. The mayor sued the city council, or they had a lawsuit over, God, I forgot what the original law, there's been so many of them. There was a lawsuit, I want to make sure. The veto power was the board of supervisors. The mayor, the original suit was the veto on the no vote. And the mayor sued the city, and city council sued the mayor, and they went up to the Supreme Court. The mayor lost at the trial court level. The Supreme Court ruled against him 9-0 that you cannot veto a no vote. Upon having that, I thought everybody, usually, like if Socrates and I were suing each other and we were partners and I lost, usually you don't want to go back to the well because you lost, and I would make concessions. That's how legally it's supposed to work. The mayor came back down, wasn't going to make any concessions, and for the hearing Monday, the city council had sued the mayor, and they wanted the ability to bring other vendors to them to vote yes or no on. The city council has maintained they've only seen one vendor, and that was Richards. Now, they had an emergency meeting, I do believe, last Monday. I could be wrong on that date. But then it was announced that Richards had sued the city for arbitrary and capricious decision, meaning they were acting, those are legal terms saying that they're not being fair, and they didn't evaluate the actual proposal fairly from Richards. I took that as it was the mayor trying, or Richards was trying to take away the city council's right to say yes or no to any contracts. That's how we got to the hearing. The judge was not happy. Now, this was what was interesting that was never brought up. The judge said the city couldn't sue the city. Now, Judge Clark didn't have the last, the one that went to the Supreme Court, the last case. That was another judge. However, I would have argued legally, Judge, whether you think the city council and mayor can sue each other is a moot point. We've already done it. And the Supreme Court recognized it, and they ruled 9-0 in the city council's favor. So the precedent was there for each party to sue each other, and I don't believe Judge Clark could have overruled that if I was arguing the case. Judge Clark, though, like I said, he can be a little snippy. He can be sharp with his comments, but 99% of the time he does the right thing. And he saw an opportunity for both parties to come together. He literally said the only way to solve this is at the ballot box. But then after he continued the hearing to the next morning, and let me say this, when a judge like that hits on both sides, you don't know who's going to rule for. He could have thrown it out. He could have ruled against the mayor. He could rule against the city council. But he used that pressure point, and good judges will do this, to get a settlement. Now, my understanding, Socrates, I'll defer to you, city council was able to knock off about $160,000, is it a month or a year off the contract?
Per month.
Per month. There's 1 year contract.
Right.
That's a significant amount, and it wasn't like Richards, in my opinion, had a lot of fat on the contract. I always took the issue was subcontractors not being disclosed. In your opinion, what was the issue? What was the holdup, and how did they resolve it as a businessman and someone in this business industry?
Well, if you're talking about the comments of the city council president, Ashby Foote,
Aaron Banks and
Foote was the one that said that he had an issue with him not identifying his subcontractors for him. And so we will say this, and this is slippery territory. The council cannot advocate on behalf of subcontractors, nor should they be in a position to say that they don't like a particular subcontractor. And so you have to be careful with that.
Okay, let me back up, okay? Because, I mean, I give you hell, but you have contracts all across this nation. I'm not making that up, correct?
That's right.
Okay, let's say, what's the farthest bid you've received outside of Mississippi?
Well, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico was the farthest. Okay.
You're in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
You put a bid in, I'm assuming this was for some hurricane repair?
That's right.
Okay.
Shelter in place.
Okay. You get the bid.
Right.
Puerto Rico, do they require you to list your subs, or do they just give you, and I'm just going to make a number up, I don't know anything about your work. Let's say it was for $1 million.
Yeah.
And let's say I'm applying what I know about you a little bit. You're a general contractor from what I know you. Meaning you usually have to hire roofers and electricians, which is normal.
Right.
Let's say in these shelter things, you're acting as a general and you'll have to have subs. As a public entity, is it normal practice for you to list those subcontractors out?
Yes, it's in the EBO policy. If a municipality or government has a policy where they require X percentage to go to different diversity groups, like African Americans in the city is 12.5%, Asian Americans maybe 2%.
Did Puerto Rico have some of those clauses?
They would have that as well. Okay. Every municipality now is interested in the local community being involved in the contracting process.
Do you agree or disagree with that?
Oh, I agree with that. You got to try and keep your dollars at home. You got to build your own economy as much as you possibly can.
You can't contract to build a nuclear plant with people who, if they don't exist in Mississippi.
Well,
locally speaking,
you should have locally people participate.
Yeah.
Now, when the storm hit Rolling Fork, there was a local firm, not local firm, but there was a minority-owned firm that received the emergency contract to pick up the debris. Now, I had issues with that.
Okay. Now, let's go back a little bit, because you and I have had some heated debates whether you should. I always say go local when you can.
That's right.
Because of the economics and you're keeping the money in the.
That's right.
You've taken a position to go African American more than local, because you think that's important. Am I mischaracterizing?
You're mischaracterizing that. I take the position that we ought to go African American local.
Okay, that's first. But no African American, and I say it's local, whether it's Hispanic, women, white versus African American New Orleans. Which one would you go?
Right. We want to go local, Brent, every time.
I heard that, but I'm asking you, local white versus African American New Orleans. Which one are you going with?
Brent, local, I said.
Okay. I'm not making sure.
I'm not changing that. Local white.
I thought you changed.
No, I'm not. Local white is more important than diversity from outside of our community.
Okay. Go ahead.
Now, we're talking about prime contractors, Brent. Okay. Inside of the prime contractors, there is still the second bite of the apple that a local white prime should have a mandatory participation goal for local African American firms.
Okay. Are these, whether African American or local firms, are they listed anywhere? Let's just get out of your world for a second. IT. Okay. Is there a list usually of approved IT local providers that Puerto Rico would give you, or someone, some people around, let's stick with Puerto Rico, they know there's going to be a lot of work, they want to be on the work, but they know they can't get the general contractor or prime contractor contract. Do they have to approve something? Does Puerto Rico give you a list? How does that usually work?
Most municipalities have a certification process. You have to demonstrate to them that you are, in fact, an African American or a minority-owned firm. Now, you could be a white female as a minority as well.
Does Jackson have that list?
Yes.
Okay.
And so does Hinds County and the state of Mississippi and Jackson Public Schools and every other entity.
Does Jackson require to know who your subcontractors are?
As far as you meeting the goals that you present in your bid for those classifications, 12 0.5% for African American firms. You have to list the African American firm in the EBO plan in your bid.
And identify them by name.
By name.
Okay, so
and
you
by
can't
percentage.
Okay, yeah, but you can't say, okay, what about the white subcontractor? Do you have to identify them? Currently, your understanding of Jackson, Mississippi policy and procedure.
Yeah, the white subcontractors you don't have to list.
Okay, is that problematic?
No, not at all, because the whites have not been historically discriminated against, and there is not even a goal for white subcontractors.
And let me say this. No, and what I'm saying, not so much as a goal, coming from my world, which is the legal world, even if we're doing a case where I hired you or not, if there's a fee dispute or if there's a public entity to make sure a fee, we would all have to do petitions to get paid on what we do. So I would be looking to have everyone listed. Not really, I'm like you, I don't want the city council to approve them, but I would like a public listing of them so we can see if they're qualified or we can review them.
Well, a subcontractor does not have a contract with the municipality, so you have no need to review it. The subcontractor is contracted to the prime. They are totally responsible for the work of the sub. And if there's a breach in there, the prime must step in and correct the breach.
But what I would have in my contracts is that you'd have to get approval before you hired a sub.
Why would you do that as a municipality? That gets you into contract steering, subcontractor steering. That's problematic. The government should not influence the bidding process beyond the rules that were stipulated in the bid document.
But you do not see room for abuse where I could hire you and then you hire my cousins.
It's been this way for 1,000 years, and it has worked fine. And so now all of a sudden we need to have more scrutiny, and we need to understand who the subcontractors are and where they came from and what have they done, because we don't trust this prime to be able to hire competent subcontractors. So we need to help him as a government.
I apologize. I need to apologize for you. I've been having a fake Socrates Garrett come on my show because someone who looked like you said that African Americans aren't properly represented in contracting business and they've been denied contracting opportunities. So when I'm trying to improve it so we all get some transparency to address any concern, you don't see a problem with it in the last 1,000 years is what you just said.
What I'm saying now that we have African Americans in charge and running the municipality, Brent.
Corruption's okay.
No, it's not corruption's okay, but the process.
White people was corrupt, so black people have a right to be corrupt.
The process worked well for white folk for 1,000 years, and the same process will work well for African Americans. And so we now ought not try and change the rules of the game based upon the fact that we have black governments, Brent. That's what I'm arguing against.
And I'm talking about state contracts, with my experience, that are still controlled by majority white. I would like to know everybody who if I get hired by the AG's office, if a federal judge or Judge Peterson or Judge Wooten wants to know if we get in a fee dispute, we come walking up and they're going to say, well, who did what? Now I'm going to have to disclose that. And in my opinion, if the city of Jackson hired me and I hire you to do something, I am hiring you through that public power given to me, contracted to me by the city, so that would make all that transparent. I just think it takes away the abuses.
Well, you can try and take away the abuses all you like, but the deal is this, Brent. The bidding process is in place. You do not have to disclose all of your subcontractors.
Currently,
to
we agree to the city of Jackson.
And black folk get less than 2% of contracts for goods and services out of the state of Mississippi. And I can assure you that all of the subcontractors that are working on that 98%, that's being awarded are not listed, and no one is concerned about who they are.
I'm concerned. I just said I was concerned.
Well,
I don't want Haley Barber's cousins to get any more contracts.
You're only concerned now that we have the inference about a black contractor and a black government, and now a white Republican politician wants to look at all of the black subcontractors. For what reason, Brent? So he can be assured that they have the capacity, or is it because so that he can make sure that certain people don't get work?
Yeah, because you know me, I've always liked the Republicans, and I've never sued them, and I'm not representing the citizens of Jackson against the mayor to make sure they have drinking water because their due process rights. Or I just wear the white hood, go dance around burning crosses, Socrates. That's been me, voting for Haley Barber and Delbert Hoseman.
Well, Brent,
how is Phil Bryant doing? Have you run into Phil lately?
I have not seen Phil, but I see him on TV.
I bet you do.
And he's doing a wonderful job with his commercials that he keeps continuously run. And that's one thing I want you to take note at.
That he runs commercials with stolen money?
Well, he runs
allegedly?
a commercial about, let's keep our dollars at home in Mississippi. Donate your cars to this charity.
Oh, yeah,
and help us get our daddies back. I see little black kids on there and on the commercial saying, help us get our daddies back.
And please don't convict me if I'm indicted.
And so,
does he say that?
Point, I don't know. He doesn't say that.
Oh, he doesn't
and
go
so
that
the point
far.
I'm trying to make, Brent, is that
whoa, wait a minute. Let me stop you there.
Go ahead.
Let me stop you there.
It's your show.
I know it's my show.
Go.
Are you really saying that Phil Bryant is helping the black man?
No, you won't let me make.
I'm just saying you were talking about how he's helping the black man come home.
I said with his commercial.
Did I miss 8 years of him being governor?
No. I was trying to get to.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I was trying to get to the point, Brent. You won't allow me to make.
I can't let you keep on making these misconstructions.
Won't let me make the point,
but hang on. But is not Phil Bryant the one that you? You know what we're going to do? We've got Socrates Garrett, and then we're going to have fake Socrates. We're going to call him Phocrates. Phocrates told me that Phil Bryant took the Go Zone that was supposed to be Hines County and Jackson, and Phocrates said he erased that map and said, here's Flowood, and that's how Flowood got their convention center, and that's how Flowood got all that new investment, because Phil sketched out that line and said, well, Go Zone is not only Hines, it's going to be Rankin County. Did I misconstrue that while you're over here cheering for Phil Bryant?
I'm not cheering for Phil Bryant.
Well, I tell you what, you tell me. Go ahead, blast.
Now, here's the deal, Brent.
Go
this
ahead.
is the point I'm trying to make to you. That even when a governor has been involved in a public scandal and have certainly there are leads that says that his involvement was more than
there's
just being
text messages.
Yes, and that governor still is able to get on TV, run commercials, be adored by Mississippians, and still do that. Now, Brent, you take a black man and put him in the same situation, and he would be tarred and feathered and talked about, and he would not be on TV making any commercial for anyone ever again. Because that's the double standards that we have.
Okay, you agree that commercial is him trying to keep his ass out of jail by staying relevant. Can we agree with that?
Well, he was running the commercial before he got the scandal.
So he's not trying to stay.
I think that he is just continuing on with his life as if nothing has ever happened. And the people that allow him to do the commercial are saying, we still think you are our guy.
Now, let me ask you this. Okay, we got to take a break. We're running late, but we're going to take a break. We can agree. Here's what I want you to do. And if you're watching this and it comes out, and you're going to hear me say this a lot. If you think Phocrates or Socrates is right, I want you to go buy some Earth Blend coffee.
That's a good thing.
Because African American businesses should be supported.
That's right.
If you think the constant sense that I've been saying from day one that small businesses in Mississippi should be invested in, I want you to go buy some Earth Blend coffee, because coffee's brewed right here. And until we start investing in ourselves, we're not going to invest in anything. But we owe you guys some commercial breaks. We're going to take those now.
Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We Believe Digital Podcast is here for all your podcasting needs.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, Keepers of the Knowledge for People Who Speak the Truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the WeBelieve.global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at WeBelieve.global. SGECOVIDsolutions.com is paving the way forward for a safer city government, delivering cutting-edge biosecurity and biosafety protocols developed internationally by top virologists and scientists using an all-natural cleaning solution, killing COVID-19 on contact like no other product on the international market. For more information, please call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at SGECOVIDsolutions.com. Let SGECOVIDsolutions.com provide innovative rapid facilities testing and world-class state-of-the-art biorisk safety protocols for all of your coronavirus needs. Call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at sgecovidsolutions.com.
Socrates, you know what? We forget how well we miss a good paper. Well, I've been sitting here trying to calm down from your foolishness. We forget how. I think it's being haunted by intelligence. But if you have not picked up the Mississippi Link and you want some local news, I highly recommend it. But it's just nice to get some. I miss getting a paper in my hand. But anyway, moving back. So you really think that Phil Bryant is okay with white people? Like, we're going around and saying, steal $70 million from DHS,
Phil Bryant could be re-elected governor tomorrow if he in fact could run.
Oh, hell no.
He would beat any black man in Mississippi today, tomorrow, anytime in the foreseeable future.
Could he beat Jim Hood right now?
No, but he could beat any black man.
Okay, that's a whole different conversation.
Oh, why is that a whole different conversation?
Because Mississippi's got 400 years of racism. I can't fix that in one election. I'm not denying the racism doesn't help. But let me go ahead now. Whoa. Let me go ahead. Since we're having this conversation, let me say this. Socrates, I understand I can't get you to do another TikTok on racism. I've tried, I begged. The first one I shot of you, 300,000 views, but I can't bring you to the future. I'm trying to give you some love on my show, but then I understand if I lived through what you lived in, I'd hate all white people.
I do not hate white people. I didn't say that. I do not hate white people. I hate the fact that blacks are starved out of the economy, which affects their quality of life, which affects their ability to feed their children, to have great health care, to go to good schools. I hate the economy that was being kept from us, Brent.
And let me say that, and I just said I'm fine with that. Okay. I'm fine with living through it. But here's my question to you, and we've never talked about this, and we might just blow this studio up. My issue with what you just said, not disqualifying or discounting your life experience or the African American life experiences in Mississippi, you don't have the votes. If you keep on playing this game, which the slave master defined, you will keep on losing at this game. What I'm telling you is, let's throw the game up in the air, because I'm not playing slave master's game anymore, because you don't have the votes. If we go, we're going to make this simple. People who show up to fight over here, people who don't show up to fight over here, white or black, people who want hospitals over here, people don't want. Am I going to get every white person to convert in a day? Hell no. But they're just stupid and ignorant. But why do you keep on trying to play a game that you're set up to fail at?
I'm not. And this is the point that you need to make sure you get. Brent.
Okay.
I expect Ashby Foote to do the things that benefit the white business community. I expect that. He ought to do that. That's his kind. He ought to support them. What I think, Brent, is that when you have the power, when you are the mayor, when you have the majority on the city council, when you have the majority on the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, when you have the majority at JPS, you ought to see an economy that reflects you having that power. That's all I'm saying, Brent.
One, I agree with you on that, but two, this is a point I want you to get. Okay? I'm named after Jesse Brent, whose bridge and the museum's named after. Papaw's best friend. We had Senator Cochran and Senator Lott call my family for money when they needed. Haley Barber knew our address well when we had money. And this is a point I want you and everybody who's for your position that race, and I'm just going to summarize for you, you might have some objections, that we need to stick to a race-based analysis. The flaw is this. The reason the black people aren't hiring you, and I do believe Socrates, I give him hell, but it's amazing what he's done at 78 years old in a state that's actually been against him the majority of his life. They don't do that because you're black. They do that because they're human. Because as soon as we lost our money, them fine Christian Republicans lost our name. And let me tell you something. The fallacy of the race issue in Mississippi is not only should we not discriminate people based on race, it's that the white brotherhood's going to be there for us in the end. Them sons of bitches, and I said it, will turn on you just like they'll turn on you because it's convenient and because it betters themselves. Just like, I'm going to say it, Deion Sanders had a calling here. We still don't have water and we still got a murder rate, but Deion was called to the white people in Colorado because he needed $5 million. Race doesn't bind. The people who show up are the ones you can call family. And what I'm saying is this analysis that we are stuck in has destroyed our state till we are basically the laughing stocks of America. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, you said a lot, Brent.
I usually do.
You said a lot. I think we are stuck in it, and I don't see any way out of it because there is no change of heart in the Mississippi white community at large. That's why a black man like Barack Obama cannot win Mississippi, the state of Mississippi. That's why a black man like Mike Espy, more than qualified, could not win the senator's position.
We will agree.
That's why a black man like Gary Anderson, which was the department head of the finance and administration, could not win the treasurer's race for the state of Mississippi against Tate Reeves, who was a banker.
He was the most qualified person in that race, and might be the most qualified person in that election.
So until white folk quit voting and blocking and hating on black people, then there's no way for us to get out of this. Those with the power have to have the change of heart, Brent. Those individuals that control the economy have to have the change of heart. The little man can't have a change of heart. Doesn't do him any good.
You just basically wiped out every revolution in the history of the world. Every revolution where we're talking about the overthrow of the Russian Tsar, or we're talking about South Korea, or we're talking about the caste system in India, they have not said, I'm sick of this crap and I'm not putting up with it. And in my opinion, we're not sick of it. Black, white, green, yellow. Mississippians are okay with being last, because let me tell you something. All that's great if I saw 100% turnout in Jackson for their mayor's race. If I saw the PTAs, and I understand the socioeconomic of 400 years have some of this with generational trauma, but you got to start somewhere. And what I'm saying is, until we sit there and say, I will disagree with Mr. Espy being qualified to be elected. That's just personal. With that said, I don't disagree with Anderson. However, until we have a Democratic Party that starts off the conversations with, hey, we want teachers to be paid. Hey, public school's important. This private academy's killing our state. Hey, when I get cancer, I want my hospitals to be open. Until we have those conversations, we won't have a serious Democratic Party, because if it comes down to white versus black, 62 to 38 every election. Now, you might go 60-40, but if you keep on playing the game, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Okay, so now here, I agree with you on the 62-38 deal. I agree with you on that concept.
Okay.
That strategy will never work for the 38. I get that.
Because you're a smart person. As much hell as I give you, you're a smart person.
I get that.
And so we're clear for the listeners. Some of what he said today might be because he knows certain public officials are watching.
What are you talking about? What public officials have I endeared in any way today? I can't recall one. I spoke on behalf of African American business people from the economy, and that's my lane.
Is the mayor?
That's where I'm going to stay.
Okay, has the mayor done enough for African American businesses in the city of Jackson? This mayor currently.
No, he has not done enough.
Okay.
He has done quite a bit more than the last mayor that we had.
Yarber?
Yeah, because Yarber wasn't able to, because the same council interrupted his.
There's some different. To be fair, there's some different.
And he wasn't able to do what he could have done, so they thwarted that deal.
Okay.
And so what we have here now is a situation where African Americans are not being represented in the right way at the percentages that they ought to be by the mayor and or the city council. But I will give this mayor this credit, that he told the line, he held the line on awarding an African-American contractor, a prime contractor like Richard's Disposal, in this garbage contract. Now, he put his career on the line to do that. I give him credit for that, because Richard was the low bidder. Richard is an African-American owned firm. This is an 85% black city. Well, why can't the black man have that?
And here's my whole point to that, Socrates. One, since we're going race, and this includes everybody on the council, because let's be honest, you keep on talking about the Republican president, but last time I checked, right, you had, and now their names are, who are the Kenny Stokes was the abstaining vote. He's African American, right?
He is.
He could have voted and it would have been 4-3. You had Aaron Banks, who's African American.
That's right.
He could have voted, it could have been 40-3.
That's right.
You had one white city council woman vote for Richards, right?
That she did.
And then the last individual is whom?
Vernon Hartley.
And he's African American, right?
He is.
And he could have voted, right?
That's right.
Okay. It took a white old judge, all due respect to Judge Clark, from Scott County, who lives in Flowood now, to mediate, to politic, to do what should have been done by grown folks. The majority of African American grown folks, right?
That's right.
One of them voters should have been able to sit down like we're having here, hash it out, cuss each other out, do whatever you want to do, and come up with that vote.
That's right.
None of them could do it.
It did not happen.
None of them could do it. It did not happen. None of them had the ability to sit down and say, Socrates, what do you need?
Wonder why is that, Brent?
You gonna blame the white man now?
I do believe there's an invisible hand there that's keeping black folk divided, Brent. You don't see it?
So the 85% population of Jackson has lost all free will because Whitey's still running them.
I believe there's an invisible hand there, Brent, that is making...
What is the name of this hand? And am I a member of it?
No, you're not, Brent.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Actually, you are an individual that is somewhere in the middle of all of this, and I applaud you for that. I mean, you have some issues. I mean, you grew up with a lot of wealth, and you lost that wealth in some transaction, and so you have some issues.
It wasn't a transaction. It was a global economy embargo that happened in Afghanistan, and a certain representative who may be African-American named Benny Thompson made sure the white farmers ate, while we other ones did not.
Well, yeah, so I get it.
And I don't hate Benny for that.
I get it. So you're somewhere, you have some experiences that lend you to understanding the African-American experience.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say that part.
Well, I can say that because...
Well, I'll say this to clarify, and we're running out of time. It comes down to this. We have to recognize where we're from, and it's not 17 generations ago. It offends me that we had Confederate. Are we still in Confederate Memorial Month? I think we are. It's April.
I don't know. Monday was a holiday for somebody.
But was it?
Southern Confederate or something?
I don't know. But what I'm saying is, while the 400 years, the lynching, those are all issues I never make light of. My real issue is we ain't got something better to talk about than what happened 300 years ago.
No, because it's happening now. That's the whole point. It's not 300 years ago. It's happening today, right?
What I'm saying is, if you and I could agree on something, making sure people have health care is something that can transcend all races, right?
That's correct.
And this is, and we're running out of time and we're running late, but this is what kills me, Socrates. I understand in 1608 when the slave master saw the poor white rednecks and the poor black slaves getting together ready to lynch his ass. I understand where someone could be like, we whiteys got to stick together. That worked when there was no cell phones, no internet. I understand that. For us and my issue to be talking about in 2023, where we know there's a billion Chinese, where we know there's a billion Indians, not Native Americans, people from India, where we know Brazil, we know Costa Rica, we know Mexico. When we're sitting here trying to define what color your pigmentation is, when we're in a global community, we're the dumbest people. I'm spitting mad right now. We're the dumbest people in the history of the world to be trying to live in a 1600 world in 2023 when artificial intelligence literally exists. If you have not checked out ChatGPT, it's the scariest thing in the world. The opportunities are amazing. But we've got to modernize ourselves to say we are here. Or you know what I would love to do? Start just sending people 3 hours away and let them live there for 3 months and let them find out where they're really from. Because let me tell you something. You take a redneck ass black man from Mississippi, wherever, and they go to California, New York, oh, them white people aren't sitting there like, come here, brother. They're saying, take your redneck ass back to Mississippi, because I know it's been said. So I have more things in common with you than I do with anybody from China, Soviet Union, Poland, France, and that's what we need to focus on. But if we're not having that conversation, and if we can't take that to the polls, we're going to be in the same damn cycle. I'll give you the last word.
Well, I just agree with most of everything that you've said. I just wish I could see evidence of that happening.
Me sitting here on my show on your network is not evidence?
Well, this is you and I. But Brent, it's got to get beyond you and I. It's got to get out of this podcast studio, and it's got to get in the halls of government. It's got to get in the hearts and the minds of white people.
Hell, if I could get a black man to cut some clips up on this show, we might be able to get 300,000 more views.
We're working on it.
I'm working on it for 2 years. Anyway, we're running out of time. I got some things I got to go see. Socrates got to go run his $1 million complex business that somehow that's been the invisible hand has kept him from. With that said, it's always been a pleasure, Mr. Garrett.
Yes, sir. Indeed.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you.